Okay, before we begin,
Yes.
like, is it okay to cuss?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
all
think
right,
so.
all right, all right.
It's possible we'll do the little Batman Beyond egg baby chirp over it. So you can try it out real quick.
Fair. Oh,
Okay. Hey everybody, I'm here with Nick Filardi, the colorist behind Justice League Infinity. We're going to be talking about your work on the book and just experience as a colorist in general.
Sure.
So thanks for joining me at this beautiful outdoor brewery in this weird industrial space by this R2D2, I don't know, sewage line?
yeah. You really know how to wine and dine me.
Absolutely, cheers. I know you've watched a couple of videos and you've seen, like, we caught, like, how you colored the darkseid kiss armor transition, stuff like that.
You also caught me. I put red trim armor on the helmet of Hades.
That's right.
And apparently that was wrong. And I am going to emotionally take that to the grave.
We'll always call people out on that. Ask them on and Kavina on the Batman book.
We're all under deadline. We're all trying.
So let's talk a little bit about how you became a colorist. I know I did a little bit of digging on your life. You went to SCAD.
Savannah College of Art and Design.
That's right.
It was invaluable to be around like-minded people. I grew up in Connecticut. There was nobody who was like making comics professionally around me. Suddenly I'm in SCAD and like everybody's making art, everybody's into it. It's like, okay, well I want to make comic books, but the thing about making comics is like you're not gonna be making money hand over fist when you get out. Like,
right.
It took me a solid 4.5-ish years to like start to make a livable wage, and then it took me another 5 years after that to be like, okay, I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
I feel like every guy has a bucket of cables at some point, somewhere in their house.
Absolutely.
And I've started to be like, okay, I can get rid of these. If I need to replace a $2 cable, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm fiscally able to do that.
Because you're working on a lot of books, and you've worked for a lot of the big publishers, DC, Marvel, Image, like pretty much something for everybody. Like,
it's more constricting to do something that is like a strong intellectual property because it has to look a certain way.
Sure.
And Justice League is that a little bit. Justice League has like 1 foot in intellectual property of the cartoon and 1 foot in like comics, which is like what I do. It's a little easier for me to make that transition. With Star Wars especially, it was like everything's got to get approved by Lucasfilm. They are the ultimate like authority on everything, and so it's a little tougher.
Sure. Rick and Morty, and I guess Star Wars to an extent, and even Justice League Infinity are based off of either live action or television or cartoons, you know? So do you tend to look at screenshots when you start to build your colors, or how does that work?
With Justice League, I got a bunch of turnarounds of characters. DC gave me like a pile of stuff. I was already like very familiar with the show. Like I had watched it over and over and over as a kid. The problem is that what works for animation in motion and also on your television screen, when you see your television screen, it's in RGB. Comics, it's in CMYK, it's in paper rather than on an illuminated screen. A lot of the turnarounds that I got from DC, they were just too dark. If I had like color picked from turnarounds that I got into the book, it would print way too dark. Just kind of interpret it, kind of make it the best I could. It was important for me to get it right. I wanted it to feel like the cartoon, but I also wanted to make it feel like it was more than the cartoon. Like Amazo in the cartoon, he was kind of like one cut and that was it. But we knew he had like a metallic body. I think when there's a frame that I have in my head of Amazo, I think he got like blasted by the liquid metal, is like sealed in there and it like gleams over him. I want to do something. I want to make him feel like that. I want to make him feel metallic.
I assume for Justice League Infinity, you're doing all the flat colors and everything on your own, or do you have someone you're working with?
I have a flatter that I work with, Joel Bartlett. He'll prep the pages for me, but I'll go in and from his flats kind of do the full color.
The Umbrella Academy is a huge one that has now been turned into a Netflix show. Were you involved in the first run?
No, just the third trade. It's funny that you brought that one up because they asked me to do it. I said no. I was having a discussion with Shannon, my partner. I was telling her, I was like, you know, if I take this book, I'm gonna have a full schedule. I'm trying to make more time for me to like draw and write and that sort of thing. I was like hemming and hawing, and she was like, all right. The book comes out. You didn't work on it. how do you feel?
Yeah.
And I was like, bad. She was like, yeah.
That's a good way to go about thinking about it.
Yeah.
I know, like, right after you graduated, you started working for Xylanol Studios.
Yeah.
Right, with Lee Lowridge.
Yep.
Who done a lot of work on the Batman Adventures books.
Oh, yeah.
On, like, all of them, basically. Batman and Robin Adventures, Batman Gotham Adventures, and then the volume 2 of Batman Adventures.
Yeah. When I started, he was a good way in.
Into the volume 2, like with the Justice League looking Batman?
Yeah. He was so proud of the work that he was doing on there. He was like, he had Xylanol shirts with like Batman on it, with like that nice. Batman on it.
Yeah.
He asked me to do Jimmy Neutron book. We're gonna try you on this thing. I did the book, I turned it in, and then the next day I showed up to the studio and he had redone it. And he had printed out every single page that I had done and every single page that he had done, like laid it all on the floor, and he's like, come into the office here. It was a hard lesson to learn, for sure.
Yeah.
I get in my own head too much, tell myself to shut up every once in a while and just like do the thing that like is my first instinct and like go. If I spend too much time on a page, I start to like second guess things. I think that if I was younger and working on Justice League, I would have been like, this thing is very precious to me and very delicate, and I don't want to break it, you know?
Yeah.
But now that I'm older, I'm like, okay, I know what I want to do, and I'm just gonna go for it, and we'll see what happens. That first issue that you do is really important because you're kind of like testing all the, like, what can I get away with? Like, I put lightning on the Flash, because I was like,
that's right.
He like taps into the Speed Force, he's clocking like the Luthor Brainiac like thing.
That was the first moment where you see lightning with the Flash.
Yeah. And I was like, well, he's got lightning there.
Yeah.
And I was like, and lightning's cool. And like when he's in comics, it's just a guy doing this. You know what I mean? So I'm like, how do I make him feel like he's running quick? I was like, lightning's cool. I want to put it in. I like sent it all in, and everyone was like, do we do lightning? Do we not do lightning? Writers, Ethen, editorial, everybody was like, and they were like, yeah, we'll do lightning.
How involved are you in communication with Ethen Beavers and the writers, James Tucker and Jan DeMatteis?
Pretty much constant communication from like design files forward. At first it was like, oh, we're just gonna bring him in and he's gonna color it. Kind of production line kind of thing. And then I think as the production went forward, I got more and more involved. Granted, I don't chime in a lot because James is on point and like Ethen is good at design, and like I don't need to say anything.
Right,
you know?
and Tucker and DeMatteis both worked on the show.
Yeah,
so it's,
yeah.
You know, they're very in tune with what this universe is to be.
So the team is great, and anytime that I'm like looped into a project, the project always comes out better. Batting around like design ideas for like the new Javelin, for example.
Yeah.
Everyone was chiming in, and there was some stuff about color in there, and it's like because I was looped in and lurking on that conversation, I was like, all right, I know what we're going for.
For that specifically, was there any intention to pull from Grant Morrison's Multiversity? Because there's definitely multiverse traveling ships in that are also golden.
I mean, not as far as I know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. That's something I tried to pinpoint.
Here's the thing with Watchtower videos.
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes good design is just good design.
Yeah.
And it's not a reference
we
to
read
anything.
into everything. We do one read through just to understand the book, then we go back and try to catch Easter eggs, and then we go look in the backgrounds.
Yeah, Ethen will draw something and you guys will call it out, and it's like, no, this is just like the best way to draw this thing. You know what I mean? There was no intentional reference there, but like I think the first Javelin is like a silver color, and the second one is like blue and a yellow.
Yeah.
And I think that I was like, okay, well, blue and silver kind of go together. It's got yellow trim. So what if we made the next one kind of like a golden, kind of like a transition kind of thing? I don't want to be like,
find out. That's one of the cooler parts of the series.
That's all me. Like, for the record, it might be not all me.
Who knows?
This is the thing too, is like so much of this book is like feather in my cap, like one of my favorite books of my career. I mean, it would be one of my favorites anyway, just because the Justice League and Batman the Animated Series is like so close to my heart.
Absolutely.
But like, I cannot sing the praises of Ethen enough. Like, he did such a good job of laying it up so that I can like dunk it in.
That's how we feel every issue we read too. It's just like, this is awesome.
My favorite panel is when Lois Lane has the gun.
Yeah.
And it's like this, she like takes out that pistol and it's like that shot, and then I made it like all like Powers Noir. Yes, this is perfect. Ethen and I are working perfectly together.
With characters like Overman, who didn't actually appear in the Justice League cartoons, do you sort of take inspiration from their original comic appearances, or like?
I got a little bit of direction from editorial, and Superman of Earth D. People were saying that he was Calvin Harris, I believe, but he's
Ellis, yeah.
Ellis, but he's
not.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were kind of like, how do we differentiate him? But like, we want to do something similar. I actually drew in the boots on the first issue that he's in, because Ethen drew it one way, and then like I colored it, and then once you saw it in color, they were like, boots aren't really working. Like, we need something more to ground him. Ethen was so busy with the next issue that he was like, just go for it. If you go into that issue and you kind of like look at just the boots, the height changes a little bit depending on the shot, because I'm not as practiced as Ethen is, and I was, you know, trying to correct it and get it out. Like, right here is just a snapshot, like a super cut of boot, 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 boot.
You know there is right now. There's a lot of boots on the screen. Right now. It's been really cool to see the new characters like that. Are there character designs that Ethen did that you're sort of pulling from as well?
I haven't seen any official turnarounds.
It's always fun to see.
I think a lot of stuff is like sketchbook stuff, and then we see it on the page.
Right.
Once it's in his brain, he's the only one drawing it.
Right.
You know, like, he doesn't have to like hand it over to like a team to animate. He knows what he's doing. I know what I'm doing. Let's just do it.
Just do it. Have there been any characters that appeared in the book that you've been specifically just really excited to color?
I mean, Hawk Girl.
Yeah.
Like, Shaira. I don't know how much Justice League Ethen watched beforehand, but I like lived and breathed it. And then he did a page and he put her in her full gear.
Yeah.
Just in the background. And everyone was like, whoa, 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 this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, and he was like, look, man, I'm just here to draw the thing. I really like her yellow sweatsuit. It kind of feels like a little bit Bruce Lee as well, to me.
It's fun. I know, like, we were kind of speculating, just looking at Ethen's Instagram, he did some early sketches with Supergirl involved. Was that a case of her popping up in some early pages in the editorial? Having be like, she's in the future, she's with the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah, I never saw any pages. Supergirl never made it to any pages as far as I know.
She didn't make it in, so that's not a continuity error yet.
You gotta ambush Ethen at a convention or something.
What happened to the Supergirl sketch?
Yeah.
Are there any other sort of Easter eggs, like similar to this darkseid kiss armor we brought up at the beginning, that we might not have caught?
There's a shot where they're in the Watchtower and there's reporters on a wall.
Right.
And you guys commented that like, oh, these reporters kind of look like these other reporters. And the reason for that is because I'll get the page and I'll be like, is Ethen doing a thing? Is this a reporter? And then I'll be like, I'm just gonna Google reporters Justice League Unlimited. You know, like, and I'll be like, is this the same? Is Ethen doing a thing? I don't know. I'm just gonna color it the same way it's colored here, just in case.
And then it kind of becomes a thing.
And then it kind of becomes a thing. Yeah, I don't think Ethen was necessarily like going for a thing, but I like took the ball and ran with it. So much of the design of the world is ingrained like in my brain that like my first impulses are always got a little bit of that Justice League sauce in it. No matter like what I do, it's always a little bit there.
Do you have a favorite issue so far of the book?
This is kind of a weird question. When we started, we were doing these like 10-page half issues.
Oh, okay.
Because we were doing like digital first. Gotcha. And then we got 3 issues in, 6 issues, 10 issues, 10 pages in, 60 pages in. It like switched from like, oh, we're doing digital first to like, we're just putting it all at the same time.
That happened to the Batman Adventures Continue. That became,
So I went to the editor and I was like, this is because we gave you a better book than you thought, huh? You're putting it in print first. And he was like, no, this is just DC stuff. And I was like, all right, sure. I don't know if I have a favorite issue.
It's hard to pinpoint.
Yeah, my favorite issue is probably in the middle somewhere. 2 to 4 is probably like where I feel like we were hitting our stride. A lot of times the experience of reading the comic is different than making the comic. When I'm making the comic at the end here, I'm working on issue 7 right now. The last couple issues are visually kind of like, I don't want to say bland, they're not bland. they're not.
So I understand they're going in the room where Amazo is, and
Right, yes.
it's kind of empty in there.
So
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like kind of an empty space. Ethan's working hard and I'm working hard to make this as like visually engaging as possible.
It's like John Oliver's Void.
Yeah, right,
you know,
exactly. Yeah. So we're trying to make John Oliver's Void as
Yes.
like as engaging as possible. We're both doing like as much heavy lifting as we can to like make the finale feel like the finale. I think that when the Justice League are like fighting in the street, when they're like fighting with Overman, or like Superman fighting that like weird Brainiac bean thing that
Right,
Ethan
yeah.
put together, like for me, as far as like pure visual, the stuff that I like to work on, that stuff to me is like my favorite stuff in the book.
Yeah. All right, this is a really hard question. Your favorite issue you've colored in your entire career?
Oh my god.
That's an awful question.
You realize I've been doing like 5 issues a month for like 15, 20 years.
Yeah, let's do the math.
Thousands. Let me think about it for a second.
Yeah.
I want to say Carson Has a Cybernetic Eye.
I
but,
read that
like,
series. It's really trippy. It's a lot of fun.
Like, there's a way when you color where you're trying to like play to your audience. I did a mainline Justice League book just recently.
Yeah.
And when you color the Justice League, it has to look a certain way. You know, I can't get too wild or unless they're like in a hallucinant and like you know like
or
they're
some
under
really intense
fear
lighting.
gas or
Yeah.
whatever. You know, like yeah. And so when I did Cave Carson, colored it very straight, and they were like, "Hey, can you get weird?" And I was like, "We can all get weird, sure. Yeah, let's get weird." And we're doing a lot of that right now in World of Krypton. I'm just starting to work on issue 3 after Justice League 7. So Powers was my first decent paycheck ever. I was like ramen and rice like for a while, like when I was trying to break into comics. Powers was the first time that I got like a living wage. And I remember when I got the call that I was like in that book, I like jumped in the air, pumped my fist, was like freeze frame, like yeah, it was ridiculous.
Another one that's been turned into a TV show.
Yeah. Powers is near and dear to my heart. I'll work with Mike forever. Whatever he wants me on.
I love his art style too. I'm just waiting for them to put him on a DCAU book because his style is so reminiscent.
He'd knock it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Batman Beyond, anything like that.
Yeah, one of us needs to email DC editorial.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Plug him. All right, another really hard question. What is your favorite color?
It's got to be blue, right?
Blue? I kind of like green.
Here's the thing. One of the things that I do to kind of like try to bend my brain to be like, I'm gonna do something different. I'll color page and then I'll get the slider out and I'll just tap it in like a little bit in one direction or a little bit in another. Not so much that it like completely disrupts the page like night and day, like suddenly Superman's skin is green. Like we're not talking that, but like make it just a little bit weirder and then kind of adjust from there, like where it needs to be. I've been told that I use blue really well on pages, and I feel like since people started telling me that, I started leaning into it.
Yeah. What's on the horizon for you? Well, you mentioned World of Krypton.
Yep, I've been working on Batman Urban Legends. We're doing a Batman Zatanna thing. There's a couple other things that are in the pipe, but like
Justice League Infinity Season 2.
Look, everyone.
You're on record.
Go buy it. You want Justice League Infinity Season 2, go pick up Justice League Infinity Season 1.
Yes. We didn't know there'd be a Season 2 of the Batman Adventures Continue until they put it on the trade that it was called Season 1. So we'll see what the trade's called for Justice League Infinity.
They will have to kick me out. Like, they will have to forcibly fire me. They will pry my cold dead hands from that book.
Yes. So you mentioned gaming too. You do live streams. You have a big GameCube collection from what I understand.
Yeah, I try to do live streams of me coloring as well. One of the things that I wish I had when I started, just ask a question to like a seasoned professional. I try to do comic coloring on Twitch so that people can come and like see my process. I also run a Discord so that people are able to like ask questions and be like, you know, I got hired for this thing, but this happened, is this normal? You know, like if anybody ever needs to ask a question about coloring or just wants like somebody to bounce an idea off of, like try to make myself as available as possible. But gaming, being able to like just play a couple hours of Fire Emblem a week.
I watched you do that the other day, yeah.
Yeah. That
seems like a fun one.
I can manage every once in a while.
I've got my copy of Justice League Infinity
happily.
to get signed.
Yeah, happily.
Let's do it.
This is the first, just because of the pandemic, I haven't been to any shows
Really?
or anything.
That's
so
right,
you have
man.
the only signed copy of Justice League.
Awesome.
There you go. You got the first one.
The first official signed Justice League Infinity #1.
There it is.
That's it. I just need to find the rest of the team.
Yeah, yeah.
So where can our followers find you on your channel and your Discord?
The links for my Discord are on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/nickphil. They can also find my website, nickfilardi.com. I have a small store up. I have a Mothman print and a Frogman print up on my store.
Oh, man, I haven't heard of Frogman.
The Loveland Frogman.
Okay.
You should look him up.
I will.
He was spotted side of the road in Loveland, Ohio. He was spotted with pants and a magic wand, and he was a humanoid frogman about 4 feet tall. After that, he was not spotted with pants. So I don't know if he ditched the pants.
I grew up with Mr. Frog and Mr. Toad. So
yeah.
I get
it's
it.
a wild ride.
I get it. Yeah. So Nick, thanks so much for talking to me today. It's been a lot of fun having you on the channel.
Yeah.
Hopefully
absolutely.
do it again sometime.
Yeah,
Season 2.
Season 2.
Of
Yeah.
Justice
Make
League
it
Infinity.
happen. Make it happen.